George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery have sent a shockwave of emotions through the Black community. And one of those emotions is grief. My next guest, Marissa Lee, writes about it in a brand new piece. She is the founder of Beacon Advisors and co-founder of Supportal. Marissa, why hasn't grief typically been a part of this conversation?
You know, I think people tend to have a hard time naming their emotions in moments like this. But for me, you know, as you know, I lost a mother at a young age. We lost a pregnancy a year ago. I was pretty quick to understand all of these different things I was feeling really fall under this umbrella of grief. And I think if we don't give people a minute to really just sit with their feelings and process, we're not going to be able to move forward here.
I want to read an excerpt from your piece. It was beautiful. You write, you struggle to focus on work. You feel an unfamiliar tightness in your chest or perhaps your stomach. You're just a little more jumpy than usual and you can't quite put your finger on what you're experiencing. I am here to tell you that pain is grief. How are you dealing with your own grief in this moment?
It's a challenge, you know, as someone who works in the racial equity space and also in the grief space. You know, there's a lot of demands on my time, and given what's happening in the country right now, I have a desire to be in a lot of these critical conversations, but I also recognize that I need space. You know, I need time to exercise. I need to spend time with my family. I need to spend time capturing even just small moments of joy and peace. And so, you know, to African Americans who are watching your show right now, like, I just want to say, I hope that in the midst of this fight that we're in right now, literally for our lives, that you take a moment to acknowledge your feelings, to be close to your family, and to find some joy, as hard as that is today.
When you and I talk about this, it's not just about Black Americans taking the time and the space they need to experience those feelings. It's also about Americans who are not Black understanding the immense pain that Black Americans are in right now, honoring that pain and showing up for them. What is the right way to show up in this moment?
So one of the things I always say when people come to me for advice on how to show up in any moment is literally the worst thing you can do is nothing. And so do something that feels authentic, do something that feels thoughtful. You know, in the last week, I've had a number of white women in my life take steps to help advance my career. I had someone take a work project off of my plate. I've had people, you know, just let me know that they're thinking of me or share some of the things that they're trying to do to improve themselves and to improve their community. I think right now we need white Americans to use Rihanna's language to really pull up, to create space for Black people to rest and to experience joy, because without a period of grieving and then healing, we're not going to get to a place of real racial reconciliation in this country.
A lot of this processing is taking place on social media. How is that a double-edged sword?
Honestly, it feels a bit disingenuous, you know, for me to see either a company or even someone who I'm friendly with all of a sudden posting a Black square or, you know, some other nonsense. It just doesn't feel genuine to me. You know, I want to see people taking real actions. I want to see white people who are in my life doing real things to change their companies, to change their business practices. I want to see them in the streets with my Black brothers and sisters fighting for the racial equality that we deserve and still don't have. You know, I want to know that they're having the really hard conversations with their family members and their friends who, you know, don't have a racist bone in their body until they do. So the social media, you know, I appreciate it. I respect that everyone's trying to do something, but if it's not followed by genuine action, I don't really care for it.
Marissa, thank you so much for creating space for this conversation. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Alicia.
That wraps it up for this